again with Blue back with us. Yay!
Yay!
I'm
After
still
reading,
alive.
after reading like 2 sentences, and then like, oh, okay, Blue woke up, so we'll read with him.
Of course, it doesn't hurt that we've spent like 2.5 hours talking about video games and politics.
Actually, out of the 2 sentences we read, considering how long we've actually been on Skype, it's been more like we've been about on here about 4 hours and what 50 minutes or so, actually screwing around instead of reading.
You only read a few loose ends in that short time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
two paragraphs.
And we still had plenty of material to rant about.
That's right.
On top of not wanting to read this.
I give up.
No.
Okay.
What have you done?
See, that's why I told you.
Man down. Man down.
See, that's why I told you when you're like, hey, I just woke up and I saw you guys were on. Are we recording? And I'm like, yeah, we just started. We've been on 2 hours, before you got up. And then we read 2 lines, and then we kind of screwed around for about 3 more hours.
Well, I did have to eat, so that
Yeah.
took up some time. But
Yeah, that was really the
You don't get
large
to
break,
eat,
and then we
so.
just never came back.
But anyway, let's get this show on the road.
Let's do this.
Let's rock.
I've already done Leroy Jenkins, so I'm not going to do it. The separation. One day I was visiting with Princess Zelda at the castle when she got word from her father that a war had started in one of our allied lands.
what did
Which
the war start
one?
with?
How? Over
Yes.
what?
What allied land?
Yeah.
Where? Who was
Termina?
One I
involved?
just made up out of my ass.
The only one I can think of is Termina.
And even that isn't really like conventionally accessible in the way that I think she thinks it is.
Yeah.
Well, and we've got an allied land, ostensibly, and the land they're at war with. So
Yes.
Got it. They're in freaking Skyloft for all I care.
yeah, really.
The king decided to send in some of his knights and one of the legions he was sending in Link. There should be a period there.
There is.
So he just sent in some knights. Not like an entire army of them to help out or anything. He just sent in some.
Wait,
and
there
then
is a
Link.
period there.
No, there should be a period between legions and he, or a comma, or
Oh, okay.
No. It actually is.
No.
Okay, it's just very confusingly worded
Yeah.
again.
So what else is new?
Yeah, I know. My face turned white as a sheet. I knew that affairs like these could keep the men away for months.
Affairs.
But I thought they weren't supposed to be having affairs. I thought there were really steep punishments for that.
Actually, the war is with the monks.
Oh, you know what? That makes just about as much sense as anything.
It would be a better story if it was, because that would make sense. But anyway,
Add it to the list.
since he was the captain of his legion, he had to go. No shit, Sherlock. When Princess Zelda saw how upset I was, she tried to comfort me, but I couldn't help thinking that Link might miss the birth of our first child. Oh,
But I was too
really?
mad to care.
Really? That's your concern? That he'll miss the birth of your kid? Not like he could die or anything.
Right.
I know. That's appalling. Like
You're
that's
an
the
idiot.
thing you're
He's
most
kind
worried
of
about.
died
You're
repeatedly.
such a fucking idiot.
Link, you might miss the birth of our hellspawn.
If Jenna was Sakura from Danganronpa, Sakura would be a better Mary Sue than this person.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that just kind of goes without saying.
Well, once again, Link kind of does die repeatedly. I mean, he just needs a fairy to come back.
When I explained my concerns to her, she told me that in the event if I was to give birth before Link was to return home, her father would have him brought home. That's bullshit.
But yeah, right. In the middle of a war, sure.
No,
It's like,
hell, I'm sorry. You don't get special privilege when there's a fucking war going on and your
well,
husband happens to be the fucking captain.
right, and it may just be logistically impossible. I mean, if you're in the middle of a battle, you can't just call a timeout. Hey, my girl's gonna give birth. It's like, oh, it's okay. We can postpone this until later. No, they're
Yeah,
trying to kill you.
And I mean, that doesn't even begin to get into. But I mean, I'm not going to get into the stupidity of war itself, but it's kind of stupid in this realm, especially since we really don't know who is going to war with whom, why, where.
There's
You know,
just
like,
war for
Over what?
Yeah.
It's probably just a war with like the people who think that this fic is crazy or something. Like it's just a manifestation of those people.
They were called
That's all
the
I can think.
Flamers, so I sent my awesome army to attack them. Unfortunately, my awesome army was devastated because their wrath was mightier than my stupidity.
Then we all starved to death because I couldn't figure out husbandry, and I was pregnant and couldn't tend the garden, and nobody else was going to do it for me. I'm not going to claim that I'm a lady of position or standing, so I didn't ask for any sort of servants or anybody to help me with it.
Or
So
any
everybody
help
died.
whatsoever during my pregnancy.
Also,
I mean, she doesn't even have like a wet nurse or anything.
I know, and like, why are the fairies with them? Why was the Great Deku Tree in any way interested in giving them guardian fairies if, number one, the guardian fairies don't stay with them, and number two, the guardian fairies don't do anything? They don't have any role. They have done nothing. They have done jack
Maybe they were
shit.
the special fairies and he was just trying to get rid of them.
Well,
Well,
To be
one of them
perfectly
is
fair,
Navi.
yeah, to be perfectly fair, Navi is kind of just like, at that point, she's kind of just Link's friends because they already know each other.
That's fine. and
Lily's
everything,
more of the guardian role.
But like, why did he even give the fairies to them anyway? Like, why Lily? Why waste her time? I'm sure she's got more important
Again,
things to
they're
do than.
special
Well,
fairies.
yeah.
So that's why he didn't want them. They're special.
So a fairy exchange program.
Yes. After she told me that, I started to feel a little better, but it was the separation that was bothering me. You are fucking retarded! You're so fucking stupid and selfish!
What's also
What an
terrible
asshole!
about this
You
is
know, there's probably going to be at least one female warrior. So the monks are probably going to kill him before the enemies do.
Yeah, and you know,
Or they never actually said what the punishment would be, it's just that it's severe.
Right.
Like, actually, another thing about it, where the heck is Impa in all of this?
Good
She's-
question.
she's
We
kinda
forgot
fucked up.
about her or him or I don't know.
Her, yeah.
Yeah, but like she's kind of isn't she supposed to be going to war too? Like, isn't she like a warrior?
She probably should be, but whether or not she will is up for debate.
She is a warrioress of the Sheikah tribe, according to Ocarina of Time, so she would probably be staying with Zelda because she is Zelda's bodyguard and
Oh
nurse.
yeah, right.
But I mean, still, we kind of tend to have forgotten about her up to now. Who knows where Impa is? I mean, I guess we should just thank God that she's already out of the story.
And,
She'll
like, she's probably,
appear. I know she'll appear later just to celebrate the birth of their brat.
well, yeah. But I'm like, she's probably just like, please, no, just let me stay out of this as long as possible.
I knew that spending such a great amount of time apart would be hard. I didn't want to get lonely. Okay, these are legitimate, selfish concerns. I'm not gonna fault you for knowing, that it's gonna be hard and you're gonna be really fucking lonely. But it's a fucking war, and other things can happen than just being lonely. What if he dies? What if you die in childbirth? I mean, there's a lot of fucking things that can happen. There's a bunch of what if situations.
Yeah, and this all really reflects not only a childish selfishness, but also a profound, unhealthy codependence.
Yeah.
Like,
Actually, speaking of codependence, I kind of just thought of why this war might be taking place. Jenna's Jenna was a merchant. They said that they like places basically require her services,
Oh
but she
fuck!
stopped. But she stopped serving them. So now they're at war to get their merchant back because they're like running low on supplies in those distant lands because she wanted to fuck some guy who's in a green tunic who just
Who
so
could have
happened to have
easily
saved some
traveled with.
unrelated land.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so funny. I was thinking that exact same thing earlier, just before P-chan took off, so it never got said. But I'm so glad that somebody else arrived to that same conclusion by themselves.
Well, and just like Cassie just said, I mean, say it again.
There's a lot of shit that could happen. And that's pretty much what I said. You're kind of stupid and not thinking, there's a fucking war going on. I mean, there's a lot worse things that could happen than just being lonely.
Yeah, this whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous. And just like was just mentioned, Link could have easily traveled with her. She could have easily remained a merchant, and it would have been a better story if she had. Then she could just make up whatever shit place she wanted to go to. Eventually they could have a house somewhere, and who cares where it is? Because it would be an original invention and nobody could say, oh, that's not how it, we wouldn't be criticizing so much about the Lost Woods if it was, like
Right?
the magic globe woods of Gorty Chara.
Of Fartonia.
Yeah. But there's no reason why she had to stop being a merchant. It's just, I guess she just didn't want to give a shit about writing it and making up all that stuff. But she also kind of tended to, with her choice, has completely ruined Link's life. So he can't do anything now.
And the lives of the people that they're fighting now.
Yes. All of this is because of Jenna. I have no problem believing that.
We had been together for 5 months and married for 2 and never spent
Wait,
much
what?
of that time apart.
Wait,
5
What?
months.
Yeah. So basically,
that's-
her and Link rushed into marriage instead of actually thinking things through, and she's apparently been pregnant for 2 months.
Didn't they
So-
have sex before they got married?
Yeah. So technically,
Yes.
she should probably be farther along, but granted, we don't really know when she conceived exactly.
Yeah, true. It might have been the second time.
Yeah, but in either case, she'd be more than 2 months
Yes.
along, because she was 2 months along when she found out, and now it's been, quote unquote, a few weeks.
No, I thought she had been 2 weeks along.
Oh, it was 2 months.
Oh.
Which is
Okay.
why it was so stupid that she didn't
Right.
really realize
Yeah.
by then.
Yeah, okay, my bad.
Yeah, she just
Wait,
she
wait,
can't
wait.
count, and she can't do math, and she can't do critical thinking.
yeah, she can't count because they had sex before they were married. If
That
they were,
month after she first met him.
yeah, and if they were married for 2 months and she was pregnant for how long? 2 months? 3 months? It should be about
Apparently
3 or
she
4 months
supposedly
by now.
conceived on their wedding night, I guess.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Which would
Bullshit.
be romantic,
Bullshit.
but yeah, that would be major bullshit. Let's see here. Would this long separation period stress me out? Why are you wondering this? Of course it's going to.
Yeah, really.
I mean,
I mean,
you
you
had
were
the
all-
fucking bonding ceremony on top of other reasons why this would freak me out if my husband had to go to war.
By the way, if this is all a lucid dream, why is she doing this to herself?
Yeah.
Because she
Really?
can.
It's just like my question about why she doesn't just say that she was Zelda's sister or something. She's part of the royal family or a lady of the realm. Who has a fantasy about being a merchant, hoofing it around the kingdom, when you could just live in the castle and be waited on hand and foot? Sure, you might get targeted by a dude that looks like a pig, or maybe looks like a stud, depending on which game. But yeah, that's part and parcel of the territory.
Really.
But
Actually, I think the traveling around thing would be more interesting, personally.
it would be more interesting in terms of like an actual story being told, but like if you're going to just sit around in the same place anyway and not actually do anything interesting, why not just be a royal or be a noble or something? Just sit around with your thumb up your ass all day. Who cares? If it's your fantasy, why shouldn't you be somebody really important rather than somebody who really isn't that important, but for some reason everybody goes out of the way to treat her like she is? Like, I don't get that. Why? This is what so many of these authors do, too. They make them seem like, they think that making them someone not of status makes them somehow more realistic, and yet nobody has a realistic reaction to them.
That's because while they try to make them supposedly more realistic, there's still unrealistic things about them. Like this, she's a merchant, but she knows she's buddy-buddy with the royal family. If I was buddy-buddy with somebody like that, you think I would be a merchant unless I, for some reason, personally chose to continue that lifestyle? No, I'd be hanging out with my rich friends. Like, fuck that. Let them pay for all of my shit.
This is why I don't get it. I mean, like, for one, she hasn't even thought of the practical needs. For two, she keeps having this weird sort of, I'm not gonna, call myself a royal, but by damn, I'm gonna live my life as if I am.
Right.
When I got home, I was all mopey. Oh, poor baby. I knew Link would have to leave soon, and then I was going to miss him, no shit. I wish that he did not have to leave. I do too, because then you wouldn't be bitching about this, and then not acting in a realistic manner that, oh my god, he might actually fucking die. Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
No
world's
shits to
smallest-
give.
The world's smallest violin. Playing
Yeah,
without
that's
status.
sort of-
I can't make a violin, so.
Behold our field of fucks.
It is barren. It's your
I mean,
turn,
we now have a
Oh,
communal
it is,
field.
isn't it?
We now have a communal field of fucks, and there's still nothing there.
We are bad at this. Maybe we should get new jobs.
Well,
Field of
we're
Fucks
no
went out
better
with
at
that
farming than
fanfiction.
Jenna, apparently.
Yeah, well, I'll take the lesbian cows. All
At
right,
least I can
I'll
get milk from them and make cheese.
Jesus, that's funny, huh?
I'll just do the next two since they're
Okay.
about the same length as
Yeah,
the
Mike,
two. you did.
go right ahead. Take all the pain.
When he came home, he delivered the bad news. Why didn't someone tell him so that he
Wait.
wouldn't have to deliver the bad news?
But she already knew.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why
What
I
the
say.
fuck?
Why didn't someone just tell him so he wouldn't have to stress over it? Because he doesn't need that on top of the rest.
Really?
He told me that he was going to have to leave in the morning, which seems rather abrupt.
No
But,
kidding.
like, that just doesn't even... I suppose it could happen, but...
Well, I mean, if they were in that dire of a situation, but I'd imagine that it'd be more of a as soon as possible, as soon as everybody gets their shit in gear, we're going.
Yeah, because typically you need to have things arranged so that the army can actually move. You need to gather your supplies, plan out your
Right.
particular way of traveling, what route you're going to take.
Who's in charge of what and what
Yeah,
it's going to
exactly.
be where.
And I mean, you typically want to give your people time to, say their goodbyes and, just in case, because you don't know if you're coming back. So, like, this seems kind of questionable. As I
To
look,
say the least.
yeah, well, my inner life. That's my inner life. That's our Jenna. Wah, wah, wah.
Do, it's pain. Sorry, that was another thing from Rick. That Kelvin made me.
As I looked into his eyes, tears began to stream down my face. I did not know how I was going to cope with the separation. I went into his arms, whoosh, and cried into his chest.
I didn't know how to cope with the separation as well as that he might die. But I guess he's not going to die because that would be a little far-fetched for a story like this.
Yeah.
Link gently rocked me in his arms as I cried. He told me that he would be home as soon as the war was over.
Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. That's not really how wars work.
He told me he would be home as soon as the war was over. Then, when I wasn't looking, he took out the earrings and ran for the hills. Found a nice young fellow to settle down with, and they grew old together and took pot shots at me if I ever tried to come onto their property. Then they threatened to release the
Quite
Octoroks.
literally pot shots. They just threw pots at them. That's all you do in the main game.
Exploded into rupees.
Actually, I got out my slingshot and just ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be the first time she got nuts to the face.
Ooh.
And then I found a guy called Gandalf, and he slapped me in the face with his hundreds of penis.
Oh my.
He also said he would write as often as possible.
No! Well, granted, you can shove your letters up
Yes.
Ganondorf.
We'd established the rectal mail
Sorry,
service.
I had a moment of lapse. I forgot how Hyrule's mailing system works. I've corrected myself.
They're the one thing that's sacred me.
Oh dear. Nothing's sacred in this story.
The one thing that sacred me was that something would happen to him and he would not return home to me.
Finally! You get your head out of your ass and focus on something that's actually important.
I swear. I expressed my concerns to him. I do not want our baby to grow up without a father. Oh, that's your concern? You're an asshole.
Bullshit. Middle finger to you, ma'am. Fuck
Right.
you.
Saddle him
Hey, I
with some
grew up
more
without a
guilt.
father.
That'll make him feel a lot better.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah,
I
grew up-
said-
my
Deserved
father
a
was
punch in
crap,
the
so-
face.
Yeah,
he
a
is-
punch in the face is too good for Jenna.
Probably, so I'll give her another punch in the face and see if she isn't knocked out by then.
Wow. I said, choking in between tears.
She later
Do you
drowned. Yes.
But then all I can think of is if that's your big concern, then wait until he dies and then go marry some other sore loser. I mean, sore
Marry
loser.
one of the other million links out there.
Yeah,
I know, right?
like just change realities and find another link.
Yeah, you just use your Sue powers to time warp.
Let's do
Yes, this is
the
a shithole reality anyway, obviously.
time.
I
Obviously.
knew you would say that somehow.
Like, this is possibly the worst reality of all possible realities. I can't think of a worse reality for the Zelda games. I can't think of a
Wand
worse
of
reality.
Gamelon.
Huh?
Wand of Gamelon.
No, Wand of Gamelon looks like a gay picnic compared to my inner life. Like, seriously, and in any sense of the word that you want to take it. Where was I?
Gay picnics.
Oh, do you remember the stories of my battle with Ganondorf? Link said appropriately.
Oh, I don't, because Ganondorf doesn't exist. Like, you can say what you want about the double N in Ganon, but not Ganondorf.
Yeah. I nodded yes. I survived that.
No
I'm standing
shit,
here living-
Sherlock. I mean, I know. I guess this would sort of make sense trying to comfort your wife, but I think you could say it in other ways than this.
And a war cannot be worse than battling the king of evil himself. Well, actually, seeing the evil that men do, rather
Yeah,
than it
really.
just conveniently being condensed into a singular figure that you can actually beat in battle, that can be a lot worse than fighting the king of evil, who really wasn't that much of a king of evil.
Like, he gets distracted by a freaking fishing rod.
Ganon
Oh.
never did have a superior attention span. It was more like that of a goldfish.
Pretty much.
More like the king of annoyance or the king of inconvenience, the king of an opinion that doesn't quite match ours and it's presented in an annoying way that is persistent. You know, it's not so much king of evil. He's just kind of like, I don't know. I wouldn't call him evil. I mean,
He was definitely evil. I don't really think you can
Yeah.
dispute that.
well, some of him are.
Honestly, I want to say he's pretty much the most evil Nintendo villain I can think of.
Yeah, I
Some of
mean,
him. Some of the Ganons are. Some of them I'm just kind of like, well, you know, like with Ocarina of Time, yeah, he was pretty evil during it, but at the same time, we're facing Jenna here.
Good point.
I mean, compared to Jenna, how evil really can he be?
He's probably glad he's stuck in a place he can't get out of, because he
Oh,
doesn't have to screw with this.
like
Yeah.
seriously, I'll
He's
bet.
just like,
Sacred
woo,
realm really
I
must
am
be sacred
so
or
lucky. Like, man, I'm glad that failed, because if I had to put up with her, I don't think I could. Link, my revenge will be sweet in the form of somebody named Jenna.
I'm a
And
survivor.
wait, he even mentioned and his descendants.
Or his descendants, or decedents, or whatever they.
Yes,
decedents. Yes.
Decedents.
Never forget Link's decedents.
I'm a survivor. I will survive, which is
I will
survive.
a survivor.
And that, it just makes me think of that video where he gets crushed at the end of singing that.
Oh god, that video. I love that.
With those words, I looked deeply into his eyes and saw the determination in them. Jenna, my love, I will return to you. Love will guide me back. Okay,
Oh God.
Shut up.
I totally just.
Where did I put my gun?
He said as his eyes flickered with love. What is with his eyes?
His eyes are always flickering. It's like somebody forgot to pay his brain
The
bill.
eyes are
Now
not
it's
shiny.
flickering.
Unless he's like a fucking wolf, his eyes are not shiny.
Like, if you've seen the trailer for Smash Bros. 4 where like Mega Man appears, I think this Link is actually a robot. It's just like that. His eyes start like flickering because like he's not actually human. It
He's
makes perfect
Archer
sense.
Man.
Target
It's just-
confirmed.
This is some sort of terrifying magical golem that was invented to keep Jenna busy so that the rest of the kingdom could go on unhindered, and Link's away in some other realm now, and he's just like, oh, thank God the King and Zelda were able to do that for me. The Sheikah magic from Impa. That's where Impa is. Impa is researching more into the magic of her people, the Sheikah, so that they can keep this particular golem going and convincing Jenna that this is actually Link.
Oh my god, that is the most ingenious theory for this so far.
We'll file it under stories that are more interesting to read than this.
Yes.
We have
sadly,
so many
Cousins
different
ingenious. We have to.
We have so many different spin-offs of this that would be so much better.
We have seriously come up, like, if we actually cared to write Zelda fan fiction featuring Jenna,
Which we don't.
we would
Or
have
even
like
our own made-up character would be so much more better than this.
well, yeah, because every time Jenna could do something that would develop her as a character or a person, she just describes it obliquely or drops it and completely forgets about it.
Sounds about right.
He said, as his eyes flickered with love. And I knew that he meant want. He meant want, he said. He meant want, he said.
Yep.
He took his hand and brushed away my tears. He then bent over and took it in the ass.
I learned pegging from Princess Zelda.
Oh, right. He then bent his head down and kissed me. A mix of emotions raced through my mind. Some sad, some happy, some with fear. Most with fear. All with fear. Okay. Oh, wait. No, that's her. That's Link's mind. Sorry.
So, just real quick question. It says some happy. What about this is happy exactly?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
That she just got a kiss from Link, I'm guessing. That's all I can see.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I'd be happy
Like,
that somebody loved me, and I'd be also sad and afraid that he had to leave me and go to war. But we are talking about Jenna here, and she doesn't know how to portray these accurately.
yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like the world was crashing down on me. Like all of the bad things were happening at once. I decided to call it my inner life.
What
Oh,
bad
nicely
thing?
played.
This is the first bad thing. What the fuck are you talking about? What bad things? What bad thing? What bad thing? What? Tell me! What bad things? What
She
bad
got robbed earlier, and then she chased them away, so it was pretty invalid.
Yeah, and she
Uh,
was pretty cocky about it too, if I remember right.
murder? Death?
yep.
Destruction? You're an idiot! You are a fucking idiot! Continue. Like, really?
I'm afraid to.
I'm sorry, but just fucking fuck.
No,
That should
I
be the that should be the tagline to this story. My inner life, just fucking fuck.
Though I looked into his eyes again, I could tell that within my own heart, love will bring him back to me.
Bullshit.
Excuse me while I begin projectile vomiting.
Yes.
Just then, Navi came flying into the room and saw I was
Listen.
saw I was crying.
Listen.
She flew over to me concerned. Jin, Link, where's Lily? Are you okay?
Fucking ask what about that. Just be like, hey, what's wrong? You're fucking crying. Who cares where the fuck other crying? Who gives a shit?
Shouldn't you know where Lily is?
Yeah, you should.
Stop the smoker
Yes.
stars and get a drink.
And these fairies are supposed to, for these fairies who are supposed to basically be with them all the time as their guardians, they're basically never around.
Pretty much.
They don't know anything about anything. To be guardian fairies, they don't.
Age.
I mean, they wouldn't even say look or listen or hey because they don't know anything that's going on around them.
I looked
Hey,
at the.
listen, what's going on?
Did I miss something here?
She basically turns into Fidget from Dust and Elysian Tale. I looked at the blue fairy, and tears began to stream down my face. A war has started in one of our allied lands, and the king decided to send in knights.
And if you had been fucking there like you were supposed to be, you'd already fucking know this.
Link's Legion is one of them.
Oh shit!
I begun to choke on my tears as I held Link tightly. I said, then I
Thank you, author, for reiterating shit we just found out. Thanks.
You know,
Fuck you.
I'm gonna quote again from Suspiria. Away with her! Away with trouble! Cygnus! Death! Death!
Oh, honey, I'm sorry. That is bad news. But you remember Undorf, right? I nodded yes.
Why are you reiterating this? We know it! Shut up!
Oh my god, my ears.
So I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, that was Navi
Sorry.
speaking.
God.
Well, he put Link through a lot worse than this, and he's still here.
Shut up!
No, how do you even know how bad it's gonna be?
Yeah, really.
Like, what a blithe, naive viewpoint. Oh,
Well,
yeah,
because Navi's invincible, and she's just Z-targeting all the people Link is relentlessly slaying. She's just like, hey, look, listen, die. He loves you.
Repeating yourself, and I will stop getting angry.
Oh, well, we're in for a lot of rage then.
No.
He loves you, and he will come back to us. He is going to be a father, and that will not keep him away for long.
I think I'm gonna puke.
Fuck you! Shut the fuck! Oh my god, I hate you so much.
This is
Navi-
such an asinine perspective too. Just like, I can't even say it enough. How in the world do you think that a pat convenient video game bad guy, yes, he may be evil, yes, he may be bad, although it's nothing living than compared to living with Jenna, but I mean, like, how is that worse than experiencing the very worst of humanity, seeing the most horrible things that make you think, I would rather have this in all this evil, all this pettiness, all this horribleness in one convenient singular form that actually can be defeated, because that's more convenient. That's more hopeful and optimistic when it actually has a singular form that you can defeat yourself and that you can have hope of defeating, rather than some vague tenebrous thing that exists in all men. How is that less? I just don't get it.
This is where we play War by Edwin Starr. Anyway,
Swear.
Navi flew in front of me, and her blue aura grew brighter for some reason. Her aura was always calming. What's the power of aura?
Oh, man. Oh, her aura was always calming. Man, when I was in the middle of battling things in Ocarina of Time, I never noticed that.
I looked into Link's eyes. His eyes were as beautiful and as sexy as
Because
ever. They
that's
were the
what
most
you
beautiful.
notice right now.
They were the most beautiful and sexy eyes I've ever seen.
Yeah, the thought of him going away and possibly never coming back just really turned me on, alright? Makes my nipples hard. Oh wait, no, that's the hormones surging through my body. I think I've got to poop now. I may be in there for the next 4 hours.
Still,
Oh
like,
my.
As I
you,
pinch from my nipples.
I forgot about that.
I hadn't. I could never forget about that.
Cannot unsee.
Pretty much. Still like deep pools of water.
Shut up.
I just laid against his chest and enjoyed what time we had
You're
left on
standing.
this earth. I did not know how long it would be before I was going to see him. I thought to myself, he loves me. Love will guide him back home to me.
Bullshit.
And that is all I need to remember.
That you're an idiot.
Or rather, all she is capable of remembering. She has one thought that she can entertain in her head at any given time.
And it's usually babies, 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 babies.
More baby.
Babies, babies, babies. Oh!
Oh God, no! That's horrifying. That's horrifying beyond all compare.
That's basically what this entire fanfic is.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
I was trying to make a Pink Floyd reference and I couldn't remember the rest of the song.
Oh, Hawkeye,
What's up?
you've got to say your embed thing.
Oh yes, embed P-brush. Sorry, thank you for reminding me about that.
I feel a little better now because that paintbrush.
The P-brush is our only hope.
Bad P-chan.
Yes.
Embed, paintbrush, you're our only hope.
Okay.
Bad P-brush. Rated up.
Rated XXX.
Rated. Oh fuck it, I quit.
Cran and embed paintbrush.
Alrighty, the reunion. So we're okay.
Didn't take long.
Yeah, some time had passed. P-A-S-T.
We don't know how much
We don't-
because
yeah,
we were too lazy to write about that part.
A very nebulous amount of time has passed.
Or what about the war, or any significance it might have, or anything like that. But whatever the fuck, all that matters is I got Link and we can fuck again.
We got more babbies.
Yeah, what probably happened was that Link wanted any excuse to just go down the pub or something with the boys because she would let him go anywhere.
Let's see. Some time has passed since Link has left with the King's Knights. He kept in touch via letters by carrier pigeon. Wow, that's convenient.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you didn't
I
have
don't-
time to shove them up your ass and mail them.
I don't even think there are pigeons in Hyrule.
Haven't seen any.
Can't you just have carrier keys or something?
Yeah, carrier keys or carrier cuckoos, one of the two.
Carrier
Or
Octorok.
carrier Navi. just
Yeah.
just tie a letter to her, hopefully along with a brick, just for your own satisfaction.
I'm just laughing at the thought of a carrier Octorok that just like blasts you with a rock with a message tied to it.
Or a carrier Deku scrub. That would work too.
There you go. You'd like be standing around, and then there would be this horrible shattering of glass, and you'd be like, "Oh, post has come."
But then again, they have to shove the mail up their ass for it to work. That's how the mail works in Hyrule.
Yes.
So if it's by carrier pit, no, I'm just gonna stop there because that's gonna be really sad if I continue.
Oh God, that poor pigeon.
I'm so sorry for introducing that.
Proof that it could always get worse.
Yeah.
And that it always will.
Nothing can get worse than Star Turds. Oh wait, here's a story called My Inner Life. Let's read that.
No.
Yeah. You once again, Sonic in Search for Love. I think is worse than this. It's longer. I've checked.
Now that you introduced me to that, I did that as well. Maybe not the whole thing, but
I don't care. That doesn't make this any less bad.
Well, no one said it did. No one here is holding out any form of false hope.
We're only holding out for a nude hope.
Yes, exactly. In one of his last letters, he said that there was talk of a peace treaty. That is a fast fucking war. And if that happened, the war would end and he would be coming home.
No, I don't think this is even a war. I think they just, went and slaughtered a bunch of innocent people.
Yeah, that seems very likely. It's like, hey guys, they just tell the knights, this is a training exercise. Don't worry, it's all part of the exercise.
Guys, there's this pagan monastery that I went to. and they were like, it's completely indefensible. And I've got to get away from that completely just suffocating relationship that I got myself into. So what say,
help a brother out.
I don't mean the monks.
The king was willing to give him some special favors again. Conspiracy theories in Hyrule. This week on whatever the hell the Hylian newspaper is.
The Makata Times. Batteries not included. Okay, talk of the peace treaty, and if the war would end, well, yeah, that's sort of implied.
Oh wait, I know who the carrier pigeon is now. It must be Kaepora Gaebora.
Who?
Kaepora Gaebora, the owl.
Oh, the guy who trolls you into hearing his speech a second time.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense now.
It does. It totally does. That's a little wow. But he doesn't know the difference between owls and pigeons, so it's okay.
Sure.
The war would end and he would be coming home. You hope. To pass the time, I either spent my time at the castle with Zelda, which is where we probably should be to begin with, or in Kokiri Village with Saria.
Why? You have a fucking farm and animals to take care of. They don't take care of themselves.
Yeah, really.
And also, when did she ever carry on any sort of relationship with Saria? She's seen Saria like twice.
Yeah.
I think she means at Saria's grave.
Oh dear.
Got too close to my man, bitch.
And when it was too much to bear, I spent those days in my garden or tending the farm, which became increasingly difficult with this huge mass in my belly.
Also, as pertains to the terms of her bonding, she isn't supposed to be in the company of unbonded males. However, Kokiri Village, it's not an all-female village.
Right.
And
Neither is her traveling to see Zelda at the castle. She's gonna pass men eventually.
yeah, I mean I was actually going to get to that. I mean, there is no actual practical way for her to travel, even, because at some point she is going to be in the same vicinity with men and possibly alone with men.
Yeah,
Same
through
with
no,
So,
Link. Being
and I
no
like
mean,
fault of their
traveling.
own.
there's no way without trying to ask these people, hey, can you dudes, put aside all of your business and just get out of the way for a while? That's stupid. Who's going to do that? They're going to be like, no, how about fuck you?
Nobody.
How about fuck you, Jenna?
Same with Link, especially if he's going through the Gerudo Valley. There is no way to avoid, basically, coming across a woman there.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
And honestly, it's ludicrous to, well, we've
Yeah.
discussed this before. It's ludicrous,
Yes.
it's sexist,
It's fucking weak.
it's homophobic, it's heterophobic, it's every
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
phobic.
it's actually heterophobic. They actually managed to introduce heterophobia into this story.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
good point.
and it's terrible because it's homophobic and heterophobic. So it manages to insult everybody it can possibly insult, really.
Complete isolation. Oy. So I spent my days in my garden or tending the farm, trying to ignore the fact that my back was fucking killing me. I'm gonna throw up. Why am I seeing spots? I taste metal.
After the third time that I passed out and vomited all over myself, I thought, I'm just going to go to the castle and fuck this farming crap. I can't even get my way home anymore because I'm so dizzy I can't follow the ghosts.
Yeah.
Why do they even have a farm? That's what I'm wondering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no practical purpose for it.
They could easily get their supplies, all their food, and all their goods from the castle.
Like, couldn't they just go to London Ranch or something?
Yeah,
Yep.
really. I mean, there are commercial institutions in Hyrule.
Like,
Even-
do they really
even-
want to compete with their friend, like, supposedly Melon?
Yeah, and that's true. It's dumb. This is so fucking dumb. It makes no sense. It's like, at least, if you're not going to be smart and just, take what is essentially your, not your birthright, but your right, Alice is head over heels in love with you, and you're basically a princess by association. You could from the castle, but barring that, at least, make use of the commercial institutions that are established in this universe.
Yeah, for someone who's, like, a great friend of the king and the royal family, you're pretty much fucking over their economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, or, just not taking anything you're entitled to, plus making life difficult for other people, plus doing something that you, in actuality, you would not be able to do in your condition. You would not be able to at all. At all. Okay, I'm good. Or at least I'm going to pretend I am. Most of the time passed easily. Yeah, because I'm kind of an airhead.
One day flows
So I
into the
just
next.
stared off into space.
Soon you die.
But there were days where I really missed him. So there, your husband is out risking his life, may not come to see you, may not ever come to see his unborn child. But there were, on occasion, days where I missed him. And I was always waiting for his next letter. I'm going to go ahead and read on since
All
these
right.
graphs are semi-connected. Then one day, about 4 or 5 months later, a message came in from Link that the peace treaty passed something.
Wait, 4 or 5 months later?
That was a really fucking short war.
Wait
Yeah.
a minute, but her pregnancy.
Yeah, it's like
She's 7 months along. How long is this baby? What the fuck?
Hang on,
Well, remember
I think
when-
I'm dying. One moment.
Don't
Okay.
die, no.
Oh, I can't believe I just kind of glazed over that. One day, about 4 or 5 months later. So now she's well into her 3rd trimester. She has no
Not
help.
even, no, she's to her, like, 4th trimester. No, for 4th trimester, I think.
Well, by
Well,
her
let's just-
estimate, it's either 6 or 7 months since she got pregnant.
Yeah, even if you're being
Yeah.
generous.
And now
She's
it's
like-
been 5 extra months. She's
Yeah.
essentially now like 12 months pregnant. She's in her 4th trimester. At the end of her 4th trimester.
No, no, she specifically stated she's been pregnant for as long as she'd been married, so that was 2. And now it's 4 to 5 months later.
But
So
either
that's like
way,
6 or 7.
No, but earlier it said that months had passed, didn't it?
Yeah.
it said a few weeks had passed.
Several weeks had passed, so even if they had been married for only 2 months, which was inaccurate when she said it, there had been several weeks had passed. So add at least a couple of more months to that. So she is, at the very least,
Yeah.
about to drop a baby any moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she's to be generous at the end of her 3rd trimester. So
To be generous?
You're getting negative points, sir.
doing
Calm down,
Super
Bob.
Saiyajin.
Don't rage yet. Don't rage.
Okay. Okay, face. .jpg. Okay. So
You can do it.
you can do it. Let's see. 4 or 5 months later, I was on my back sobbing. I shit my pants because I literally was at the stage where I can't do anything by myself. Seriously, someone who's 9 months pregnant is not going to be able to function by themselves. They're going to require help.
Yeah, it's not a good idea for her to be alone when she
She's
is this.
certainly not going to be tending to her fucking farm.
No, she's not.
So, the war was over and he would be coming home soon. Who flippity-doo-rah. I started to cry tears of blood down my face.
Drooping bloody tears down my feces.
Yes.
And then I slit my wrist.
Oh, if only for the great pleasure of a protagonist slitting their wrists.
I started to cry tears of happiness. Link was finally coming home. I had missed him so much. My husband returning to me like he said, and there was nothing more important than that, except for
yes,
maybe
there
the fact
is. He's
that I'm 9
fucking
months
alive. You piece of shit. He's alive.
And like, what about the other people that got to return home alive? So they're not
Really?
important.
Or
The
those
fact
that
that
get
the fact that a
there-
giant conflict is ended is not important.
There were no other survivors.
Yeah.
The monastery is dead.
I'm just gonna have to nod.
There are no more pagans. It is now their ethnic cleansing worked completely.
Yes.
Sounds about right.
There's no more war and no survivors.
It was a successful genocide mission.
Lily and Navi had come to make their routine check on me,
They
even though
shouldn't be leaving at all.
no shit,
Yeah.
and it's
What
not
is
like
this?
they're strong enough to help her anyway. They
What is
couldn't
with
even-
this? Yeah,
they
what
could-
is this routine check? What is a routine check? They should be there all
They're
the
coming
time.
there to diddle her.
We're here to check the mail.
They were here for our threesome, and then apparently Link showed up.
I mean,
they just hid. They're small. They were luckily small enough to hide in there the whole time. He was none the wiser.
seriously, those two fairies combined don't have the strength to roll her over so she doesn't get bed sores. There's really nothing they can do for her. So, when they came,
All over
When
the
they
bed.
I told him the
In the
good
house.
news.
For good news. Hey, I pooped the bed.
Now you have to clean it somehow.
Oh my god.
2 fairies, 1 cup.
God.
That's so
Two
horrible.
fairies, one chalice.
2 fairies, 1 bottle.
Oh god.
And a pack of cigars.
What? Oh god. Oh god.
You
I'm
better
choking
keep
my
going.
own self.
Yeah, this is only gonna get worse. You better continue.
Yep.
They were happy to hear that Link was coming home. I was glad that Lily and Navi were here. I didn't give a shit about Link.
They were my new lovers.
You guys are so much better than Link. Oh my god. I'm gonna throw up again. I wouldn't have known what to do without them.
I'm sure they were zero help.
Oh my god. They always made things brighter, literally because they glow. And even helped the time go by faster, literally.
Oh, that was the ocarina you were fucking around with.
I was going to
Probably
say,
shouldn't mess
they kept-
around with that.
they kept playing the ocarina. I didn't know what it was about it, but
Wouldn't Link have took that with him? Because I would
Yeah,
assume
what's
that
the
would
help?
actually be useful if it still had some power.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I wouldn't take it with me in a war. What if you die and it falls into the enemy hands? At least on the other one, he was alone, so it wasn't being taken from anyone.
Well, that's assuming they know what it is and can use it.
Well, yeah,
So
they could.
you have to know certain songs.
Yeah, which they can probably figure out. They're written on walls all over Hyrule.
Yeah. And the fairies, considering they're only making routine checkups, they've got to pass the time by somehow. It's like, hey, listen, let's figure out how to destroy the world.
Then Caleb and everybody won't have to read this stupid story. It'll be a mercy killing.
Yep. Even on the days when I got emotional from the missing link. No, from missing link.
oh, God. I was going to say, if it really said that.
No.
That would be the best typo ever.
Even on the days that they were few and far between, of course, but on the days where I got emotional for missing Link, they helped the sadness go away in their own special way.
They make the best orgy sandwiches.
Orgy sandwiches.
I don't know. I just said something.
That sounds like...
We need a new commercial now.
Orgy sandwiches, the best in town. They come in 2 flavors, blueberry and strawberry, and sometimes cream.
Berry? They come with me, Berry? Oh my god, I'm scared.
Best enjoyed with your shoes off.
Relaxing with a nice cold lemonade, if you know what we mean by lemonade.
Milk fresh daily.
Oh my
From
God.
lesbian cattle.
With the
Yes!
We only use the freshest meat in our orgy sandwiches. Hoochicho's probably going to kill me for that joke.
Lord. Well, at least you haven't used it as a metaphor for your genitals.
That's exactly what I just did.
Oh.
We were too busy laughing about the lesbian cattle.
Oh. Well, in that case, I don't have any defense.
Neither do I. I probably shouldn't have done that in retrospect.
Though it was hard sleeping alone, waking up and finding Link's side of the bed empty. Why is that 2 separate not paragraphs, sentences? Whatever. At least I had Lily and Navi to help me through it.
Help you through
we've
those
already
lonely
established-
nights.
Yes, we've already established that you guys are now formed a threesome, so thank you for sharing, I guess. I was told that it was going to be about a week before the knights were to return to Hyrule. No?
Took them a week
Most
to
of them
march out.
probably would. Some would still be deployed.
Wait, if it took them a week to march out and a week to get back. Okay, fair enough. Never mind.
Even on horseback, it would take a while. You're going to a neighboring nation.
Well, that's a good point. Not the point I was focusing on, but still a good point.
Just like the logistics of that journey.
Yeah.
Just the travel time alone, and that's not the only factor.
Well, considering it only takes like a freaking day to... It only takes a few minutes to go across all of Hyrule.
Yeah, on the other hand, if Link has the ocarina with him, he could just be like, later nerds play a song and warp home.
That's another good point. But I'm assuming he doesn't. I guess that's why, as we said before, that's why the time went faster. Lily and Navi had it, and they fucked around with it way too much.
And they fucked way too much.
Exactly.
I could hardly wait. It was summer. I was now 9 months pregnant and to give birth soon. Well, finally, we have
Ah.
some kind of sense of time.
Yeah, it's like, we figured this part out. She was the last one to figure it out, and she's the one who's pregnant.
I did not want Link to miss the birth of our first baby.
Yeah, you've said that more than
Baby,
enough.
baby,
Ad
baby, back
infinitum, ad
ribs.
nauseum.
The week seemed to go by quickly, and the day Link was to come home drew near. I spent the last few days with Princess Zelda preparing a welcome home celebration for our men returning.
I just had this terrible thought that like, she makes all this stuff about it, you know, like making this celebration and makes like a banner and is looking forward to seeing Link again. And the Legion, the remainders of the Legion come back and they're carrying like a box with like earrings on it.
They're carrying this green-clad young man on his shield.
Yes. And,
No,
and then she's like,
they just said we had. No, they come back and they're like, "I'm sorry about your husband. We had to eat him for rations. It was tough out there. We resorted to all we could. Even better, like the baby, like when he comes back, the baby just like bursts out of her alien style.
like the alien creature.
Yeah, chest burster style.
Yeah.
Badoom!
Man.
And then puts on a top hat and
Yeah.
grabs a
Hello,
cane
my
and starts
baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
And on the day they returned, everyone in Hyrule attended to welcome our men home. That would be rather difficult for everyone to be there, but anyway.
Everyone's going to be there for the birth of their baby, literally.
The crowd was huge. Everyone had crowded into Hyrule Market.
You know-
Nobody no.
That it's not big enough, and honestly, this all comes off as some sort of a very childish perspective on the whole.
Actually-
or
Actually, it is big enough when you consider the fact that everyone is in Hyrule Market, pretty much. Like, there's only like a few people who aren't.
well, I mean, they've discussed though a bunch of the people that we don't typically see though, so presumably there are a lot more people. I mean, if they have enough people to make literally legions
Yeah.
of warriors and such,
They
there
just
would be
call it
no
that. It's
way
pretty
that a market would hold them all.
Right.
They probably just call it that, but it's probably a pretty shitty legion.
Yeah,
Right.
she probably doesn't actually know what the word legion means. She
It's
probably
it's
just...
five people in a cuckoo.
Exactly.
One of them wears a bucket on his head with a little.
The Cuckoo is
little
the
hole.
strongest one.
But like, this seems just like a very childish and naive look at the whole support our troops thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, you don't really understand what happens in war, and you don't really understand what's going on or why, you know, they may come back slightly different than they left.
War
Just a little bit. Just a little
has
bit.
changed.
What is it good for? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Say
Nothing.
it again.
Good God, y'all.
Good. That should be another tagline for this story. My inner life. Good God, y'all.
Or my inner life. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Say it again.
I had even seen other wives waiting for their husbands. I had a hard time getting around. My stomach was big, and when the baby kicked, it took it out of me. So
Wait, how did she
apparently
know
you
that?
finally spoke to somebody who was pregnant and learned a little bit about it. A little
how did-
too late, though.
Well,
But how does she know that there are other wives that are waiting for their husband? How did they know they're not their sisters or just random people?
Yeah, because
she's clairvoyant, I guess.
I mean,
Magic.
they're not supposed to even be with other people if they're by themselves. So if she couldn't have possibly known, because she could have only been alone in a room with chicks.
Yeah, with other girls.
So she would have no idea if they were married to anyone or if they were bonded to anyone.
Actually, she would
granted-
know if they were bonded because they'd have the jewelry.
Maybe
Also,
it was different jewelry for them.
Also, she ain't supposed to be there because
Yep.
there are men there too.
Oh my God, you're right.
I mean, this whole thing is extremely problematic because even just moving through an area would possibly make her be in a place alone with people.
Yep.
So, since he's not there and he hasn't been there for months...
For
the
some
king
time.
probably just excluded every male from standing there just for Jenna. I wouldn't be
He probably
surprised.
did.
He probably, like, executes anyone who gets within 100 feet.
So moving through the crowd was very difficult. As the knights begun walking through the marketplace, I finally found the spot where I could see and waited for Link.
The knights were shot right on the spot as soon as they entered my sight, just so I wasn't breaking the rules. The minister, the monks were like holding sniper rifles.
Yes. I gotta beat on him. Take the shot. Green light.
The book depository was right next to Hyrule City gates. I thought I saw a flash of light at one point. It reminds me of most beautiful eyes I'd ever seen. Heavenly naked eyes.
I heard a wind chime.
Oh, that's Minecraft.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Oh, I thought that was like the sound of. I thought that was just like fitting noise that someone played as soon as someone said "heavenly naked eyes."
You know, it was really good timing. I have to say.
Am I still reading?
Who's
I
reading?
guess.
Where were we?
I've lost track of time. It's all
Well, I thought
melting
these
together.
next 4 paragraphs were Who's chose because they're rather short.
Okay. We were. I watched as different legions went through.
Yes.
I lost complete track of where we were. Legions went through, although she specifically said they were only sending 1 legion and some knights.
That's
which-
redundant.
Consistency! Yay!
Yeah, also, the only legion that they sent, which she just said, was Link's legion.
Link's
felt
How
his-
convenient.
I felt his presence as I telepathically called to him, oh God. Yes, my love, I will be there soon. I miss you too, he said to me in my mind. I'm not sure which one of those, or if all
When
of
did we exactly establish you could speak telepathically to him?
During the bonding ceremony.
That happened during the
Yeah, she...
But I thought that was just for a moment when they were I'm so... whatever.
Yeah,
Forget it.
in fact, what was the point of them even sending the friggin' letter?
Yes.
I guess he just really wanted to shove something up his ass.
Oh, boy. He said to me in my mind that then when the last legion came through, I spotted my husband at the lead. Why would he be the last legion? Why? Why would
And then
he be...
why would you be expecting it if you knew he could have just told you he'd be the last and then you... whatever.
Yeah, seriously, if you had a telepathic link, why did you not use it? Why didn't you just tell her, hey, guess what, I'm going to be the last one in line, so don't get your tits in an uproar, you know, I'll be along when I get there.
I didn't know Link. Oh, wait, what do you mean by telepathic link? Do you mean Link is telepathic? Or she has
Well-
a telepathic link to Link? Or
I
The
mean,
bonding
the link
thing.
to...
Telepathic rapport. Sorry, I neglected that it could be a double meaning since his name is Link. No, I just meant, you know, if you've got a telepathic bond, why don't you use it?
And anyway, she's not using telepathic correctly. It's telekinesis. My immortal
it's
call
not.
it this. No, it's not. She's using it correctly. I'm doing a my immortal.
Yes.
Oh.
My immortal got it wrong. Called it telekinesis.
You know,
I
somehow I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah.
Somehow that never came to my mind. I thought of the dude, you're so retarded look on his face. That's
His
all
high
that
heels
stuck.
clacking.
Which has pretty much been the look on my face this entire time we've been reading this.
Yeah.
My face grew bright as I called out to him. As he passed by, he smiled at me. At that moment, I began to cry. I was so happy he was finally home because then I could have his dick again, even though I was pregnant. I was so happy he was finally home. Also, considering the fact that healer said that the more they fuck, the more that the baby will be strong and healthy.
They only fucked once in the
Yeah.
bonding ceremony.
That's exactly it. They've only done it like once, and she said that. So I don't know how she's thinking this kid's going to be, hale and hearty, because I don't know. I mean, it's a stupid idea anyway, but just like you said earlier, Blue, it was a perfect setup for more sex, and yet she somehow,
not
for some
really.
reason, didn't take it.
It wasn't really a perfect setup.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Because that's the perfect excuse to have all kinds of sex until the baby is born.
Well, no, I mean,
why else
I'm
is
saying it's a
definitely
stupid
something
setup.
that's stupid?
Well, yeah, it is. It is a stupid setup. You're right, but it is also a perfect setup.
Okay, fair enough.
Field of fucks is barren. And could not give a shit less.
I could not wait to be in his arms again. It had been such a long time, and I wanted to
It
run
had
to
been
him.
5 months. 4 or 5, you're not sure.
That's right, she's not, is she?
You know, if there was a war approaching, why did they got married like 2 months while there must have been some sort of rising conflict? Like, a war doesn't start over like a week, just like that.
Yeah, you would think that there would have been some indication of a conflict or some sort of news or talking or something, but as we have previously stated, we don't actually get to hear anything. We get it told that it was said or done, because if it doesn't celebrate Jenna, it's obviously irrelevant.
The war celebrates Jenna.
And again, another point to make of what would make this story good and interesting is the way Jenna has herself set up. She should know full well at least the majority of what's going on with the whole war and everything, because she's practically part of the royal family as well as the wife of the hero of time. That's some pretty important characters to be associated with. So you should be like in the know of what's going on.
Yeah,
Wait, but didn't we already argue earlier that it wasn't important that she was the hero of time's wife?
Well, we did say that, but she should at least be in the know, because if only because she was actually spending all of her days with Princess Zelda. She was around the royal family. If they regarded her as close as a daughter, she should at least be aware of some of this shit. I mean, yeah, the Kokiri are insular, but the Hylians aren't. And even if he weren't the hero of time, I mean, it doesn't make her an important person, but at least would put her in a position where she should logically know and be aware of some of this before it just breaks out into war. It would have built more of the setting, and it would have been better writing too.
As well as suspense and stuff to be following what was going on, because it would have been very important to the story, but it's not. The only things that are important is that she got married to Link, and they fucked, and she's gonna have his kids. That's it. And then all I can think of is, if that's all you want your story to be about, fine, but don't put all this other stuff in that could have made a much better story. I mean...
Wait, so don't put in the stuff that could make a good story, but leave in the stuff that makes it...
No, I'm not saying it right, if that's what you're thinking. What I'm saying is, when you write a story, you only put things into your story that is necessary. You don't add things to it and never go back to it.
Oh, she hasn't been adding things. She's basically just been restating stuff we've already known.
Well, what she added was this unnecessary war plot line that didn't amount to anything. You didn't need it there. The story would have been boring, yes, but it would have been boring with or without it. You didn't need that in there. Cut that crap out and just focus on the relationship. Are you going to tell a war story? Are you going to tell a relationship story? Are you going to tell a story about some chick being adopted into the royal family? What kind of story are you writing? Pick one! It's not that hard!
I think why she had this whole going away to war thing. This whole going away to war thing. It was just to pass time while she was pregnant, so that she didn't actually have to write Link doing anything, because she didn't know.
And so she didn't have to write about the unpleasantness of being pregnant.
Yeah, she basically zips through time.
She wrote nothing of it being unpleasantness until right now.
Yep. And even then, she pretty much downplayed it completely and had no real detrimental effect from the pregnancy. But even thinking back about the whole she should have had some indication, I mean, she was so involved in the whole government of Hyrule. I mean, she was part of the royal family. But even if even if the whole Hero of Time was irrelevant, he was still the leader of a legion.
Mm-hmm.
So he should probably be aware if he's going to actually be called out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of building tension. There's no depth to this story. Things just happen because it's convenient for Jenna. Everything celebrates
makes
Jenna.
It
everything.
interesting, but it doesn't. Unnecessary drama is unnecessary.
It so is.
I'm sorry. This is.
Oh, you're gonna love this upcoming paragraph.
It's just. This is everything I was taught not to do in creative writing class. I've taken creative writing, 2 different creative writing classes, screenwriting, playwriting, poetry writing, all kinds of writing classes, mystery writing. Good Lord, this is everything you don't do.
This is kind of a textbook example, and I say that because it's as long as a textbook of what you don't do when writing a story. Like, it doesn't even work well as a fantasy, a personal fantasy, which is sad because, you could very easily give it a little bit because it's someone's personal fantasy, but there are so many problems with it. Like, why would you put yourself through this? It's not a lucid dream. It's not a fantasy at all. It's you writing a subpar story that you're trying to excuse in some artificial manner.
If you don't know how to write a story, that's okay. That's why you write a bad story, and then you learn from writing a bad story to write a better bad story. And then eventually, I know that sounds like entirely wrong, but anyway. And then
Polish that turd.
Yeah, make it a shiny turd. Don't make it a worse shiny turd.
Make it a star turd.
Yes.
Polish it, roll it in glitter.
But I mean,
you'll have a sparkle turd.
I mean, even the first story I ever wrote in 5th grade is a piece of shit. Why? Because at the time, I knew nothing about how to write a story. As I grew up, I actually started learning about how to write a story. And I got better, and I got critique, and I listened to that critique. And then some of that critique was bullshit, so I didn't listen to that critique.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there is a lot to be said about making critique work and when critique doesn't, and why people should learn to think critically in general, but especially about critique, because even if someone gives you something that may seem useful to them, that doesn't make it a good critique, and it doesn't make it necessarily useful to you either.
I'm done.
Okay. All right. Let's see. It had been such a long time, and I wanted to run to him and give him a hug, but I had some patience, so I tried to wait.
How do you have patience? You've waited 4 or 5 months.
That's pretty patient, actually.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
so how
why should you wait any more?
You just said, how does she have patience?
Yes, she's waited 4 or 5 months. Why should she wait more? He's there. I don't understand.
Oh, I see.
Because there's a military procession going on. It would be kind of disruptive.
I suppose, but we haven't well established that either.
In other words, she's just anxious.
Yeah, I mean, really...
That would kind of make sense.
They didn't really say that it was a procession so much as that they were just marching into the market. So, I mean, where are they going from here? Are they going to go...
If that's the case, why didn't she just wait at the fucking castle?
You're all going to go to the Great Fairy to fuck her.
Well, we're going to line up for welcome home sex.
I don't know if that was in the Ocarina of Time, but in one of them, the Great Fairy looked like a hooker.
That it was Ocarina of Time. And
oh my goodness, she looked so... Yeah.
I think
she was cute.
That was both Ocarina of Time and I wanted to say Twilight Princess. Well, nah, really just Ocarina of Time.
King was at the other end of the market.
Why?
He welcomed home each of the knights as they passed by. How many knights are you actually welcoming?
Probably
Like, does that
well
include?
over 1,000.
Like, does that
It's over
include?
9,000.
That seems time prohibitive activity, but some even got rewards for bravery.
Wait, why would you do that there? Why wouldn't this be in front of the castle?
Also, why
Well,
would
it is
they?
in front of the castle,
Why
No,
would-
they're in the market.
which is
Why
in
would-
front of the castle.
It's,
Is it?
Yep.
It's sort of to the side of the castle, I remember. It's near the temple, but it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? No, Jenna didn't even think about
I
it.
guess, but I have
But, you
to
know,
still insert
even-
logic.
Even if it weren't at the castle, this really should not be something being done now. If you're going to award someone, you have a ceremony after they've gotten home, after they've got a chance to actually clean up, get their actual best armor on or whatever. You don't do it when they've just walked in the door. They don't want to stand there for that. Who is going to stand there for hours while the king fucks around and welcomes every single person back from the war and gives them their award then and there?
They're all just like shaking. Vietnam!
I know, like-
Vietnam!
Just like hell. I watched from the street as the king welcomed home Link's legion. Apparently he didn't do that. There was a long pause at the king. Then the king called Link over to him. Why was there a long pause?
I guess
watched.
because he's like Hitler and wants to wait a full minute before he speaks.
I watched to see if he was awarded anything. Why does it even matter?
Because I guess this is just like, he never got an award for defeating Ganondorf, so it's like, you get something now, so fuck all those other guys.
I'm feeling a little guilty here. There was a silence as the king produced a small red box. He got on his knee and opened it and said, "Link, will you be my wife?"
If only.
That would be the best.
Great
Oh,
plot
yes,
twist. The best plot twist. M. Night Shyamalan, eat your heart out. I moved in to get a closer look.
Why,
When-
if you are part of the royal family, why wouldn't you be standing up there with them?
And
Oh, just wait.
I
When-
know.
when I got to the bottom of the stairs leading to the platform Link was on, since when was Link on any platform? When was there a platform in
Just
Mario?
now.
Is it a daze? Is it a platform? Is it a stage? What actually is it?
It is the
Descriptive
thing that they are
words.
on, because she says so.
I swear. The king noticed me and told me to join them. Why would he tell her to join them? This is
Also,
Link's
why
moment.
aren't you up there anyway?
But I mean, seriously, she shouldn't be joining him. This is Link's moment. Why does she have to
What's it?
horn in on
Next
everything of
sentence.
his? Why
Next
does she have to be there every time he does anything?
Because she wants the spotlight.
Next sentence, it'll explain it all perfectly with an irrefutable argument.
Since you are this brave man's wife, you may join him up here? Yeah, because you've done jack and shit.
And
Yeah,
I didn't see any other knight's wife up there with him, or knight's
Well,
husband up there with her.
to be perfectly fair, there aren't any other knights there to begin with.
This is such bullshit.
Yes, it is.
As my eyes darted around the market, I noted, Anna, it's not all about you. It's
You-
not all about
You broke up there, so all you did was come back very angry.
you. I said, fuck you, Jenna. It's not all about you. It's not all
No,
about
it's
you.
not. And even in this Mary Sue story, it shouldn't. Not a Mary Sue story, what am I talking about? A self-insert story, it should not be all about you. With an original character, even if it's an original character in a fan fiction, a good writer knows the world does not revolve around that character. I mean, even if they're the main character, there's still other characters there that stuff's happening to that doesn't involve you.
Oh well.
Come, daughter, join your husband up here.
Oh, wait. I
Commemorate.
didn't
What?
finish. I'll do it quickly. I got nervous and the king noticed that. Go ahead.
Okay.
He is. Join your husband up here to to
Wait.
commentate his bravery.
Wait. Commentate?
Commentate.
Yeah, she's got to give a friggin' speech.
Oh god.
Uh,
His bravery in the field of battle. My eyes
No,
darted.
that he fought.
What? Yeah, pretty much. My eyes darted around once more as I slowly made my way up the wooden stairs into the platform where Link and the king were. At one point, I almost tumbled, but the king caught me and helped me the rest of the way up.
I don't think he would do that. He's the
Then I
king.
took 5 leaps at Link's side.
Shouldn't
This
Link be
brave
doing that?
soldier went above and beyond for the Call of Duty. Went above and beyond the Call of Duty. Well, yeah, I think Ocarina of Time was better than Call of Duty. In the field of battle.
And we found this out when? She told us about his battlefield exploits when exactly?
Never.
Wait,
He risked his life. He risked his own life to save his men.
You
Just
know
like
that.
ow.
I'm sorry.
Just
But
like
she's
everyone.
right. When was this ever brought to our attention? Things that would have been more interesting to know rather than when we are told at the award ceremony.
Well,
This is like an award ceremony for like a song that no one ever sings and we never hear.
Well, it's kind of obvious. To be perfectly fair, because typically you're going to be risking your life if you're in a war to begin with.
Yeah,
It-
and he was the battlefield commander.
Yes.
But we never stated that he actually fought anything.
It's sort of
Yes,
implied.
it's a war. Well, like, what do you think he did? Play checkers
Well,
with him the whole time?
Yeah,
You never know, though. I mean, really,
sits
to
in
be
the
quite
general's
honest,
tent and sips Darjeeling.
to be honest, we don't know because she never told us anything that happened. He constantly wrote letters to her, right? So you'd think that there could have been a scene where
Yeah, they could have been deployed, but that doesn't mean they actually fought.
that's true too. And
Finding out now, I guess.
I mean, regardless, it would have been nice if we had had some scenes of her throughout the months reading those letters and thinking upon them, meditating upon them and what they meant, and maybe thinking, well, that sounds very exciting. Perhaps he will get an award or something like that, instead
But
of
that would
just.
imply thought process.
Yeah.
Oh.
Something this character has shown time and time again to be incapable of.
My inner life that I pulled out of my ass.
My inner ass.
Oh, God.
My rectal apocalypse.
Yes.
He risked his own life to save his. He risked his own life to save his men. For that, actually, I think this is Jenna speaking. He risked his own life to save his men. For that, I award this brave man Link the 8. The Triforce of Valor is a pin awarded to a soldier that risks his life or becomes wounded in the line of duty. Like every single soldier, only soldiers with
So
stature
it's
are awarded this pin of highest honors. This pin symbolizes you risk your life for your men on the field of battle and gains the wearer respect. That's real. That doesn't necessarily.
He's the hero of time. What more respect do you need to give him?
Yeah,
And
it doesn't
also-
automatically give you respect.
And also, why would you call it the Triforce of Valor?
It was
Yeah.
better than Shining Star Turd.
I mean, that's just a stupid name. But yeah, I would rather.
It's kind of insulting your goddesses, really.
Yeah, it is, because you're saying this dinky ass little pin on tack is equivalent to the actual Triforce.
So here's my problem with this particular award. It says, the Triforce of Valor is a pin that is awarded to a soldier that risks his life or becomes wounded in the line of duty. So it's like the Purple Heart in the U.S. military. But then it goes on to say, only soldiers with great stature are awarded this pin of highest honors. So it's like, well, if you're not important, if you risk your life and you're just as good a soldier as anybody else, but if you're not a soldier of high stature, then you can just go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's what bothered me too. That's not really how that works.
Yeah, it's, if you do the thing that is required for the medal, that should be the only requirement.
Yeah, well, this is just more celebrating
Fact.
Jenna because Link is basically Jenna's possession. So any sort of thing that
Basically.
sets him apart from everyone else, that also makes her more special.
Yeah.
The king opened the box and held up a pin with the red bird behind the Triforce symbol, probably the loft wing, whatever. And the bird's claws. Wait a minute! Oh my God! That does sound like a loft wing. They probably took that. Oh my God! Nintendo was actually taking notes from this fanfic. Anyway, and the one bird's claw was a bundle of arrows, and the other was a lightning bolt. A small purple heart, which is capitalized,
Bullshit!
down the center of the Triforce symbol. Now,
Uh-huh.
you rage
God.
while I get the hell out of here to escape your wrath. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bullshit.
5,
Fuck.
4, 3, 2, 1. What the fuck?
Bullshit! Bullshit!
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you and your piece of fucking non-creativity.
Fuck you is something hard and sandpapery, to quote Kelly.
Oh my goodness, my throat feels hard and sandpapery now. For me to bark like that is really it's unusual for me.
Well, this kind of had it coming.
It had it coming. It had it coming. It only had itself to blame. If you had read this, I bet you would have done the... Yeah, I'm done.